Is Richard Dawkins actually an atheist, or is he in fact a pagan who worships Apollyon the Destroyer and who practices witchcraft, which is basically the use of words in a particular way in order to have things happen in accordance with your will? Well, first things first, Albert Pike said that, he said we, and he's a Freemason, shall unleash the atheists. This was the before the Third World War is to come. So he's kind of like made what appears to be a prophecy, because he also predicted, inverted commas, the First World War and Second World War, and they happened exactly as he so-called predicted, but it looks like it was a plan. And in the third part he says that, about Third World War, he says that we shall unleash the atheists. And at this time, and over the past few years, we have had what's been called the atheist phenomenon, with all these people coming out saying that they're atheists, saying they don't believe in anything, but all of them doing exactly the same thing, and that is viciously attacking anyone who is preaching Jesus Christ, doing things which are completely irrational and claiming that it is all rational. Well, like the Bible says, you know, woe to those who call good evil and evil good, which is what they seem to be doing. And so therefore I categorise them as pagans. And looking at their logos that they're using, again, these are pagan logos pertaining to Apollyon the Destroyer. Back to Richard Dawkins now. Is he a pagan? I noticed that in many of his videos he has mentioned Apollo, who is Apollyon the Destroyer from Revelation 9:11, and he's also mentioned Zeus, who is the father of Apollyon. Now there's no reason for him to do that. In one video he actually called Shiva by the name Lord, but when he's speaking about Jesus he's very contemptuous. So all of these things to me say that he's a pagan, though I have not caught him making any pagan hand signals. I have seen him preaching whatever he's preaching, anti-Christianity, from platforms which have banners with pyramids on them and so forth. So let's just hear from Richard Dawkins himself whether or not he has got Apollyon the Destroyer on his mind, perhaps a little bit more than he should have. Let's hear what happened here in this video here, which is actually called Richard Dawkins versus homophobic Christians. But because his argument wasn't going very well, and there were people there giving good answers to this, it then went into what you're about to see now, and what Richard Dawkins says next in reply to this girl.
People believe in God because it provides them with a sense of hope, and without God, where would that sense of hope derive from?
Okay, first thing to say about that is that the universe does not owe you a sense of hope.
Right, okay, so she's sort of speaking about God, and he responds with the universe doesn't owe you any sense of hope. This is the same sort of language that's used by people like David Icke, who I'm completely convinced is a Masonic witch, and I've produced much evidence on my website planetxtube.com to show that he is that. But I have to call it my opinion for obvious reasons. Right, so here he has called God the universe, not God. Let's carry on.
Could be that the world, the universe, is a totally hopeless place. I don't, as a matter of fact, think it is. But
right, he doesn't actually believe that the universe is a totally hopeless place. Okay, so he has some hope somewhere, like Christians have their hope in Jesus Christ. He has now said that he actually has a hope somewhere. So let's see where this hope is.
even if it were, that would not be a good reason for believing in God. You cannot say, I believe in X, whatever X is, God or anything else, because that gives me hope.
Right, so what he said there is very important. He said, you cannot believe in X because X gives you hope. Hold that X in mind for a moment.
You have to say, I believe in X because there is some evidence for X.
Right, so there is, he can say that you can believe in X because there is some evidence of X. Let's just carry on and we'll come back to the X in a moment.
In the case of God, there is not a tiny shred of evidence for the existence of any kind of God.
Right, so he's saying that there is
In the case
another
of God.
evidence or a shred of evidence for the existence of any kind of God, but there is this X that you can believe in because this X has evidence, and I will agree on part of that of what he's saying, because X is a Roman numeral, yeah, for 10, which can be read as a word, Io, which is Greek for sun, and the pagan sun god is Apollyon the Destroyer, and one of his names is Io, and one of his numbers is 10. And that's also a mark, isn't it? So here he is saying that you can believe, in my interpretation, I'll have to say that now, that he is saying that you can believe in a mark, a number and a name, but you cannot believe in God. So, for my mind at least, I believe that Richard Dawkins is not an atheist by any means whatsoever. I believe that he's a pagan and that he worships Apollyon the Destroyer, and that in this video here he may as well have outwardly come out and said it, because he said that there is evidence for the belief in X, and X is a universal mark, it is a number and a name, Io, which is Greek for sun, and is one of the marks, numbers and names of Apollyon the Destroyer.